Hello, my dear English students. So we haven't seen each other for a long time, right? I guess it's partially can be explained. It partially can be explained by my being sick. So I have the cold, and okay, I'm doing my best to say goodbye to get rid of the cold, but for the time being, all my attempts are futile. Anyway, so I've got good news to you. You might have heard Azula's recordings, right? The way she speaks English, answering some of my questions. Well, and the good news is that she has passed the examination, the SEFR, with flying colors. It's an idiom. To pass an exam with flying colors means to pass an exam very, very successfully. And she got C1. Yeah, and she is on cloud nine, which means she's extremely happy. She got maximum score minus 1 point. Yeah, yeah. She was very, very excited when she was talking to me over the phone, and she graded me, saying a lot of compliments to me, a lot of compliments. Of course, thank you very much, Azula. It's me who should thank you for such great work you did. Okay, so guys, I have prepared some assignments for you. These assignments are for intermediate students, but it doesn't necessarily mean that all the intermediate students of mine can do the assignments which I have prepared. No, the boot is on the other foot, so others can also join us. So do these assignments. Well, feel free to write your answers so that I can check them. You can you can place your answers in your comments, and I will definitely answer your questions, saying what is good and what is wrong about your writing, about your answers. Well, and also I would like to tell you that you should be more active if you want to pick up English, if you want to become an effective English speaker, You should be able to, I would say, to come out of the zone of your personal comfort, right? I will tell you something about my bitter experience. My bitter experience. Don't think that I have always been quite good at speaking English. No. On the contrary, I had some ups and downs. There were some ups and downs in my professional way, and uh, very often it occurred to me that I couldn't even say a couple of words in English. Yeah, perhaps a bit later I will tell you a couple of stories about me. Yeah, this is what I usually do. Sometimes you know that now and then I give you some stories about myself. Okay. Um, Now, the assignments. Today, we're going to talk about some grammar and how to use it correctly. You see, I have seen a lot of guys who can speak English, who know English grammar okay. They know the rules, and when it comes to doing the tests, they can choose the right answer. Yeah, they can even explain in English, not in their own tongues, not in their native languages, why it is like this and not like that. Great, perfectly well, but when you practice your speaking skills, you don't explain anything using some grammatical concepts. Of course, no. It is either you can speak English or you can't speak English. So that's the catch. For that reason, regardless of the number of grammatical exercises you have done, so you may not start speaking English fluently. But it also means that unless you do grammatical exercises, you will never become an effective speaker. Okay, the first exercise, fill in the blanks with the correct article. Yeah, a lot of my students are not good at choosing the right article. And when they speak English, so they tend to make such mistakes related to the correct use of the articles. So let's take a look. So first of all, I recommend that you make a pause and do this exercise on your own. As you see, there are totally 22 sentences with the blanks you're supposed to fill in with the article. So feel free to do it on your own. Then you will compare my answers with yours. Okay. So I pretend that you have made the pause and you have got your own answers. Let's compare your answers with mine. So the first sentence should be like this: swimming is great fun. In this particular case, swimming is a gerund, and you remember that gerunds never we never use articles before gerunds. So that's why it should be swimming with a zero article. Great fun. Another zero article. Why? Because fun is uncountable. And that's why the right answer is swimming is great fun. Let's proceed to the next one. Airplane makes noise. Okay. So the speaker who is saying out this phrase seems to know which airplane he or she is talking about. For that, they are even looking at the airplane. For that reason, situationally, the object being said about is known. For that reason, we're supposed to use the article there. The airplane makes. But this is the word collocation which is stable, fixed, make a noise, we usually say. For that reason, we say the airplane makes a noise. Let's proceed to sentence 3. So what sort of man is he? Yeah, in collocations such as kind of, sort of, whenever we use articles, we say what sort of man is he, or what kind of man is he. Also, we can say what sort of man is he like, or what is he like. Number 4, my uncle. Okay, let's take a look at the end of the sentence. It's Scotland. It's a country, yeah, it's the name of a country. And we know that usually when the name, official name of the country consists of one word, we normally use a no article. That's the case here. That's why we say in Scotland. But fortune, right. But the thing is that the word fortune can be translated in different ways. If we talk about a sum of money, we say a fortune, and this is the case in the sentence. In other words, we can paraphrase it saying that my uncle could earn some sum of money in Scotland. For that reason, we should say my uncle made a fortune in Scotland. Okay. But if we use the word fortune as some future events, in this case, we'll use no article. We'll say a fortune teller, she sees somebody's future, etc. So let's proceed to sentence 5. He has more than, okay. How many hundreds are we talking about in the sentence? Right, 1, because there isn't the S ending in the word hundred. That's why we are talking about 100. That's why we say he has more than $100 on their card. I would like to draw attention to the word card. You should be able to explain to yourselves why we are supposed to use there. First of all, card is a noun. Secondly, it's a countable noun. Thirdly, it's a singular countable noun. For that reason, it should be modified with something. In other words, we can't leave it without anything before the word. Okay, so we've got 2 options to choose from, either the card or on a card. But if we say on a card, it means a stupid thing. We don't know which card we're talking about. That's stupid. That sounds ridiculous. Sorry. Again, it means situationally we understand which card we're talking about, and that's why we use the card. So he's got more than $100 on the card. Let's take a look at the 6th. Again, situationally, we understand which train we're talking about. That's why we say the train. Because if we said a train, that would mean that we don't understand which train we're talking about. And by saying this, we others would consider us stupid people. So the train left half an hour ago. Remember that we normally don't use the article a before the word have normally. Half an hour ago. Why an hour? Because half of 1 hour. That's why half an hour ago. 1 hour is a synonym for synonym to an hour. So the final version is the train left half an hour ago. Number 7. She's made great progress in English. Isn't she a smart girl? Progress is uncountable, and that's why we use no article. And moreover, we didn't mention any progress before that. That's the noun, uncountable noun, which is mentioned for the first time in the sentence. For that reason, we use 0. In English, English is a language or a subject. For that reason, we use no article either. Isn't she a smart girl? So this is the case when we say that somebody is something. She's a teacher, she's a good teacher, she is a girl, she's a smart girl, etc. That's why I would say, isn't she a smart girl? Let's proceed to sentence 8. Okay, success and work. These are two uncountable nouns, and both are mentioned for the first time. That's why we use no article. The final version is, he tried without success to find work. However, instead of find work, we could say get a job or land a job. It's an idiom. He tried without any success to get a job. It's also a synonym for the sentence. Okay, good. Okay. So sunshine is uncountable and health is uncountable too. For that reason, we use 0. Sunshine's good for good health. My little brother will go to school next year. Right. We use no article in this work location because we use school according to its first meaning, according to its first lexical meaning. What does it mean, school? School is the place where people are taught. And it's not just a geographical spot on the map. No, it's a spatial place where people are taught. And this word is used according to its first meaning in this sentence. For that reason, we use no article. So my little brother will go to school next year. The same logic is applicable to such words as prison, church, and bed, and hospital, for example. So she's down with some disease, and that's why now she's in hospital. So she is a patient. That means that she is ill, right? And that means that she is in hospital. We can't say she's in the hospital, but her parents, who are the visitors to the hospital, have come to the hospital because for them, this is a geographical place. Why do we say go to bed? Because in this case, the word bed functions according to its first lexical meaning. It's the place where people fall asleep. But, for example, you can say, oh, I came nearer to the bed to find something lying next to it. It was my ring, which I had lost long time ago. In this case, you are not talking about your intentions of falling asleep. In this sentence, you're saying that the bed is a kind of place in the room where you could find or spot your ring, once lost ring. Okay, I guess our parents will surely ask me to come along to. Okay, and for the speaker, who seems to be much older than the little brother, the word school has stopped being the place where he was taught. For that reason, it's only a geographical place for him. That's why I would say, I guess our parents will surely ask me to come along to that school. Though, I'm sorry, though I left school many years ago, and in this case we say left school because we say we use the word school according to its first meaning. The school, the place where I got educated. Okay. So, number 11. Okay, it's a stable phrase. Go to the cinema. I used to go to the cinema 3 times per month, per week, per month, etc. However, we could say like this: I used to go to the cinema 3 times a month, instead of per. Okay. 12. I would like to draw attention to the preposition of. It's not the rule, or it's not a very reliable rule, but it often occurs that if there is the preposition of, so it's very likely that we should use the article there. And this is the case in the sentence: the cotton of Egypt is exported to many countries. While Indian cotton, Indian is an adjective. Well, in this case, oh, I'm not quite good at picking up the right articles myself. Indian cotton. I would say the Indian cotton has stopped being purchased by the European Union. Why the European Union? Because it's a group of states. I'm sorry. It's a group of states, and whenever we talk about a group of something or somebody, so we use the article there. For that reason, we say the USA because it's a group of states. The Russian Federation because it's a group of republics and regions. That's why I would say the United Kingdom because it's a group of kingdoms, etc. That's why I would say, for example, the rich. It's a group of rich people, etc. The Allied Islands. It's a group of islands. The Smoky Mountains. It's a group of mountains. Oh my God. I'm sorry for my French pronunciation and for my coughing. Okay, so the European Union for children's exploitation. Why we don't say that? Because we don't know what children we're talking about, and that's why it's a common talk. That's why we say children's exploitation. In the next sentence, we've got Tajikistan's cotton. It's possessive, and that's why we use new article. Tajikistan's cotton is likely to be forbidden for import-export transactions for the same reason. Okay. Remember that we never use the article there before the name of a language. So she speaks Japanese. However, in the continuation of the sentence, we've got the word language. Whenever we use the word language, we must use the article there. For that reason, the final correction is like this. She speaks Japanese better than I can speak the Chinese language. Number 14. That's a general talk about tigers. That's why we are not talking about particular tigers. That's why it's a common talk, and we say tigers are dangerous, wild cats. And the next one, by the word tiger, I mean tigers throughout the whole world. The word tiger symbolizes all tigers around the world. For that reason, I say the tiger is a dangerous cat. It doesn't mean that I'm talking about a particular tiger, though it can be. But in most cases, when we use the article there before such a noun, so we mean that noun symbolizes all other similar nouns. For example, the computer has become an integral part of my life. The computer has become an integral part of mankind's, right? We are not talking about one computer. We are talking about all the computers ever produced. For that reason, we use the computer. Okay, where is it? Yeah, okay. Number 16 has escaped from a local zoo. In this particular case, we're talking about one tiger which has managed to escape from a local zoo. I guess that it should be the local zoo, but a tiger. A tiger has escaped from the local zoo because it's very likely that there is only one zoo. For that reason, we say the local zoo. That means the situation we understand which zoo we are talking about, but there can be more than one tiger, and we didn't talk about an tiger before, and that's why we say a tiger has escaped from the local zoo. Tigers which have escaped from the Moscow Zoo are dangerous. In this case, we understand which tigers we're talking about. We explain which ones, the ones which have escaped from the Moscow Zoo. That's why we're saying the tigers. In the 18th, we understand that you should remember that we normally use new article before subjects. That's why we say many people find organic chemistry much more challenging than physics. Oh gosh. Okay, it depends. Now, number 19. You see apostrophe s construction, so that excludes the use of any article. That's why I would say today's man prefer to date thin. Thin is an adjective, and I've just used this rule, saying that when we talk about a group of people, and that group of people can be attributed with the help of an adjective. For example, the rich or the poor. So we say they're rich, they're poor, and here the thin. So today's men prefer to date with, prefer to date the thin. Or we can say today's men prefer to date thin girls or the thin. But we can't say today's men prefer to date the thin girls. That means that they prefer to date only this and that thin girls, not other thin girls. That there is no logic about a sentence. So number 20. We remember that before the names of hotels and theaters, okay, galleries, we use the article them. But in the end, we don't know which three-star hotel we're talking about because there can be more than one in Tbilisi. So it should be like this. I was going to stay in the Marriott Hotel in Tbilisi, but finally I had to put up in a three-star hotel or in a three-star one. You know, for some reason, people are afraid of using articles before numbers. Don't. If logically you understand that it should be used, so feel free to use it. Oh, I need my nose drops. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, okay. So the next is number 21. How come you don't know that two guys who wanted to murder you last night? You let them in, which means that you had met them before. Yeah, we understand. That's the case. That we used the article there before numbers. For example, we understand what two guys are being asked about. For that reason, we can say that. How come you don't know that two? That means those two guys. Instead of those, we can say that. It's okay. Let's try again and assist the police officers to identify them. If we don't say that, that means that we are talking about police officers throughout the whole world. But suddenly we understand that we are talking about some of them standing next to you. You're just looking at them. You understand which police officers you are talking about. So who have come to to get the two guys caught. Okay, they might have arrived in the city from the United Kingdom. Again, why the United Kingdom? Because we are talking about a group of kingdoms, or from the Pamir Mountains. Why the Pamir Mountains? Because it's a group of mountains. And the last one, milk you bought isn't good. Oh, in this case, we are talking not about milk generally. It's not a general talk. That's why we understand which milk we are talking about. We say, the milk you've bought isn't good. Next time when you're going to buy milk, don't pick it up in that place. So the use of the word that excludes the use of any article. However, I could cook something from the milk. Why the milk? Why do you understand what milk I mean? The one you bought, the one which isn't good. I know how much you like milk. In this case, it's a general talk, not any particular milk uh, brought from a particular place. It's a general talk. I know how much you like milk. That's why I will use no article. Thank you very much. I hope that it was more or less easy for you to understand the logic. Let's proceed to the next exercise. Amend the following sentences if necessary. If you ask any professional interpreter or translator daily dealing with English, which part of English grammar seems to be the most challenging one, they are very likely to reply that it is the prepositions. Yeah, it is true. I have prepared some assignments, some exercises, some sentences for you in exercise 2. So make a pause and try to do it on your own, okay? And then you will compare your answers with mine. So let's pretend that you have made the corrections that you've done this exercise on your own. And let's compare your answers with mine. The thing is that the word accused is always followed by the preposition of. He was accused of lying. I'm surprised at the news. I'm interested in fishing. You know why it's that important to know the prepositions? Because we remember that in order to impress your examiner positively, you should show off your ability to use correctly gerunds. And we remember the main rule of correct gerund use is that normally we use gerunds after prepositions. You see, accused of lying, interested in fishing. So fishing, lying are gerunds. So we believe in God. Water is composed of oxygen and hydrogen. Are you sure? No, not for. Are you sure about his honesty? But you know what I have noticed about native speakers? When a student, I heard my instructors often telling me that, for example, we must say speak about, right? However, when I first found myself abroad, so I came across lots of native speakers saying speak of, not about. That was a kind of discover of America for me. Okay, are you sure about his honesty? So the cat was guilty in stealing meat. He was finally cured of the habit of drinking. He's very good at English. When is he leaving for England? Many birds live on seeds. I can't get rid of this cold. It's about me. This cloth is superior to that. Some people are jealous of their friends. He grew tired of walking up the hill and sat down to rest. I wonder if you could translate the letter into Moldavian. That entirely depends upon you. She was dressed in a yellow dress. He did his best to comply to the regulations. Comply. That means follow the regulations. Oh gosh, it slipped my mind. I do know this. Comply. Comply with, yeah. So he did his best to comply with the regulations. That's for sure, comply with. If you proceed, the word persist is very tricky because it looks like the word insist. We know that the word insist is followed by the preposition on, but not with the verb persist, which is followed by the preposition in. If you persist in doing that, I'll be very angry with you, not against you. You see, you can be angry with somebody, but you can be angry at something. This is much inferior to the one I bought last week. So superior to, inferior to. His composition was full of mistakes. Everything in the room was covered with dust. Covered with them. Okay. So these two exercises should help you to memorize some perhaps work locations which you can use like, like bricks when you're constructing another answering another question. Sorry. Now, speaking. The most challenging part is speaking. So I have prepared 10 questions for you. These are not IELTS speaking part 1 questions. These are general English speaking questions, and that matters. I want to say that the tactics is a bit different. In general speaking, when you're answering another question, you should try to use to maximize your English background. Your English background in order to not only impress yourself, but to make yourself feel confident about your speaking skills. The more you speak, the longer you speak perfectly well, the more confident you become, and the more you want to speak on and on. This is not a good way of speaking when you are taking an IELTS examination, but unless you can speak general English, you will never be able to pass any IELTS or TOEFL, you name it, exam speaking modules. Never. First of all, you should be able to start speaking generally. And then on the basis of this experience, you can start to modify your answers and your tactics in order to make your answers corresponding to the rules and requirements of this or that particular examination format. Okay, let's take a look at the first question. Do you like your first name? As usual, traditionally, I will give you some versions of a more answer to this question. A good one, a bad one, a low-level one, and a better one. So I just want you to understand that you should be, as I said above, more active. And my best regards to Albina. I guess she understands why I'm addressing this message to her. I'm still waiting for her to show up on my horizon in order to organize an interview with her. For some reason, she's afraid of doing that. Whenever I ask her to start it up, she finds, She's from Uzbekistan and she uses this word. I have learned it by heart. Bahona, which means a weak excuse not to do something. Yeah. Well, I like her. You know, she isn't only a beautiful girl, she's also a smart one who can speak good English. She has a good command of English. And I have heard her students speaking English. Well, not bad, really not bad. Though they are not effective. I will tell you why, because they are not active. They are rather passive. They have gained some knowledge, but knowledge and skills aren't identical. Don't make their mistakes, please. Somebody may believe, oh, I can understand some native speakers' speech patterns. Oh, I can reply their questions more or less extended way. Oh, I can use this. I can use that construction when answering a question. Excuse me. This is not what we call stable skills. Remember, stable skills. So I mean, one's knowledge transforms into stable skills only when you repeatedly use and exploit your knowledge repeatedly on a regular basis. Unless you do that, you can say goodbye to your knowledge because in a while it will turn into a heap of some expressions, nothing more than that. By the way, that was the main reason why I resigned from the position of a translator. Translators can speak English well, you know that? Yeah, perhaps some translators who might be listening to me now would like to kill me, but that's true. Interpreters can, but even they can only interpret when it comes to expressing their own thoughts, so they're not that active. As for translators, they can translate perfectly well, taking into consideration nuances and some mm, very small moments which are normally overlooked by even native speakers. But when it comes to speaking, they pass. Don't be like these guys. So you should become smart, independent, and effective speakers. An effective speaker is the one who can do everything. Okay, the first question. Do you like your first name? Model 1. Yes, I do. I like my first name, and there are several reasons to explain why. Firstly, it was given to me by my parents when I was born, and it has a um, very nice meaning if we translate this into English. So my first name, if translated into English, my first name means clever. And you know, I am clever. I believe that my name helps me somehow to stay clever, even though I am surrounded by some stupid guys. So this is one of the possible answers. Now compare it with this one. Well, I should admit that it's a hard question for me to answer, and let me explain to you why. The thing is that before I got down to learning English deeply, I had thought that my name's beautiful. It is derived from the Persian language that means that moons rise. However, after I had made friends with some local guys residing in Scotland, I started to notice that whenever they were about to call me by name, they started to smile, trying to hide it. In the beginning, they wouldn't tell me what was wrong, but I insisted on knowing the truth. It turned out that in English, particularly in the local dialect of the language, my name sounds something like a monkey with a dirty S. You might tell me that I shouldn't pay so much attention to others' thought in my name, but the problem is that I'm going to settle down in Edinburgh. In other words, I have found myself between two extremes. On the one hand, I like the way how it's pronounced in my native language. On the other hand, I'm aware how the locals perceive it. However, I'm inclined to think that this way or another, I will be able to modify it somehow so that it's okay for my new acquaintances. So I'm not going to relinquish the name my parents once gave me. This is another version. Now, before we start answering my traditional question, which one is better for you? I want to ask you a few questions, leading questions, okay? The first question, which moral answer was more captivating for you to listen to? The first or the second? Which one was more traditional and which one was rather unusual in context? Another question, another link question to make you draw the right conclusion. In which of the models, in which of the model answers did I use more sophisticated grammatical structures? And my last question. So in which of the model answers did I use leading phrases and linking devices more? I guess that the answers to these three questions are about the second. It's more extended and it's more interesting to listen to because it's full of particular moments, some yeah. Also, it's unusual and even funny. A monkey with a dirty something. Well, I guess, and I explain exactly in detail why. So, don't be afraid of making up stories. I'm sorry. My throat is getting dry. My throat is getting dry and I need something to drink. Okay, it's because I've been speaking for a long time, okay. So question two, would like to buy a car? Model and so on. Oh yes, I would be happy to buy a car. I would be happy to drive my own car. For example, going to work or any other destination that would that would enable me to save much time and money. Also, I would visit different countries because I'm crazy about traveling, and that would be much more convenient to pick up all my friends in order to visit some places of interest. Also, that would definitely bring up my social status because a car owner in the eyes of others is much higher than someone who doesn't own one. So to cut a long story short, of course, I would like to. It's model answer one. Now, model answer two. I know that if you ask others the same question, roughly 99% of the respondents would respond positively because owning a private vehicle has been a hard dream to reach since the first car was sold. However, one of my strong suits is critical thinking. The point is that nowadays roads are quite dangerous for driving. For few drivers comply with rules of road, which results in a great number of accidents with lethal outcomes. Why should I long for a car, which is very likely to become my coffin? No, I'd better use either public transport means or a taxi to get to the destination, which surely decreases the risk of being run over. In other words, I wouldn't try to put away money to stand a chance to drive my own car. Again, let's take a look and compare the two answers. Well, I believe that I didn't make mistakes when giving you both answers, but which one was more interesting and more, I would say, more personal? Which one contained more high vocabulary words? For example, uh, in the second model, I said respondents, right? Then I said strong suits, critical thinking, coffin, long for, which means desire to possess something, destinations, risk of, run over, put away money, stand a chance. Well, whereas in the first model answer, I used relatively standard vocabulary. Okay. Uh, and in grammatical terms, I used, for example, the second conditional structure. If you asked, would respond, right? I also used the connector however, and why should, nowadays, etc. Okay. I want to give you a message that you should be able to come up with rather non-standard answers to attract your examiner's attention to your personality. I talked about this in one of the previous videos related to speaking skills development. Okay, question 3. How many times per day do you think one should eat? Well, I believe that it should be 3 times per day when someone should consume food. It's typically in the morning when one has breakfast, then at break time when one can have dinner, and finally when one is back home from work, they can enjoy having supper. So also people can have some extra extra occasions when they eat out somewhere with their friends. And that means that total per day they can have food roughly 4, even 5 times a week. I'm sorry, times a day. Um, that's it. It's question 3. I mean, it's answer, model answer 1 for question 3. Well, now model answer 2 for question 3. Okay. Okay, let me like this. What we consume as food determines the quality of our lives. I'm pretty sure about that. However, I find your question absolutely imperative, as not only what our stomachs digest, but also how often they do it matters. On the basis of my wife's successful fight with extra weight, I know for sure that the more frequently we upload our food with low-calorie food, the higher the chance that one's thin again. For instance, a year ago, my spouse weighed 243 kilograms. After I had told her that if she didn't stop putting on extra weight, I would find a sexy lover, she immediately made up her mind to do her best to save our family because she loved the way we lived. Thus, my wife began to eat water and drink tea. Yes, again, I will repeat it. She began to eat water and drink tea, doing that 5 times a day. I should admit that in the beginning it wouldn't work out, and I reminded her of my intentions. Hearing that, she got a strong stimulus to say goodbye to her extra part of her body, to the extra part of her body. In practical terms, she intensified the consumption of the 2 liquids up to 30 times per day. And you know what? It finally did work out. She became as slim as a young girl. But the other side of the coin is that she has become quite irritable. But it's okay with me. So to cut a long story short, the more often the better. Now let's compare these two model answers. Again, the second one is more extended. It's full of mm, what particular interesting moments, which some of which are funny. Yeah, of course I hyperbolized something, but anyway, it's only to make it more humorous, to make the examiner smile a bit. Also, I used different constructions again. Well, and also I used connectors on the basis of thus in practical terms, etc. So let's take a look at question 5. Well, would you do your best to conquer your best friend's girlfriend if you uh, if you fell in love with yourself? mm, mhm. Okay, model answer 1. Uh, no, I'm sorry. It's question 4, right? If you had to choose between which animal to save, either a cat or a snake, which would you opt for? Oh, okay. So I should say that I'm afraid of snakes, and when if I ever came across one, I would either fall unconscious or run away, escaping from the animal because I knew that it can bite me, and because of the venom of the animal, I can pass away. As for cats, so they are not dangerous, at least not that much as snakes, and they wouldn't be a great problem if I made up my mind to keep one in. So the choice is obvious for me. I would definitely opt for a cat, not a snake, because the latter is quite dangerous to have around. That's the answer for this question. I mean, model answer 1. Now another one. Uh-huh. I should make up something super duper, right? Super duper. Okay, I suspect that the majority would rush to save the cat's life, but I would save the snake's because I would keep it in. The point is that I live in the country, and my house is located near wheat fields, and therefore there are many rats and mice, both in the rooms and in the basement of my house. I've got up fed with the nasty fur animals, trying to get rid of them. I had a cat as a pet, and it turned out to be absolutely useless. To have it guarding the house against rats. As for snakes, they are absolute predators and will never miss a chance to have a mice breakfast and then a rat dinner. Because of that reason, I would seriously consider the snake a related opportunity. Yeah. So, what is the benefit, or what are the benefits of the second model answer? First of all, its context. It's rather unusual, not predictable. And secondly, I explain in detail why I would choose the snake, not the cat. Well, and again, I give a lot of particular moments explaining the whole situation. That's the key to success. Remember that, please. So let's proceed to the next one. Yeah, that's the hard question. Would you do your best to conquer your best friend's girlfriend if you fell in love with her yourself? Okay, let me pretend to be a good man. Oh, of course, no. If I found myself in a similar situation, I would never try to even show my true feelings towards her because it's not my area of interest. It's a prohibited zone which I may not pass. Um, so, and friendship for me is number one, and I will never ever allow myself to hurt my friend's feelings because he is one of the most important people in my life. Well, friends, girlfriends come and go, but my friends come into my life, staying there forever. Oh gosh. Okay, okay. Now let me work out another answer, another model answer. That'll be like this. Although the question may seem to be a hard dilemma, it's not in my case. Because I found myself in a similar because if I found myself in a similar station, I would definitely make sure I'm the happiest guy in private life terms. Why should I give in the girl I like to somebody else? In my own scale of priorities, my private life is higher than friendship. I know people may accuse me of being treacherous to my friend, but such is life. It's either me being happy or him, and I'm not ready to sacrifice my life for my best friend's happiness. I'm sorry saying that, but it's true. So we are not going to discuss the how to say the other side of the matter. Um, I mean, the psychological side of the matter. Uh, to what extent it is correct to be speaking like this. We are talking about whether or not this model answer is more attractive, is more sorry, attention grabbing or not. I guess it is. I guess it is. Okay. Okay. The next question. Is it easy for you to make friends with an absolute stranger? What factors can affect your decision to start friendship with a person? Uh-huh. So by nature, I'm an introvert, and that automatically means that I'm not accustomed to making friends with people I barely know. And that's why answering your question, I want to say that no, it's not that easy for me to find friends among people who I barely know. And perhaps the main reason behind that is my inability to make myself make the first step towards the person. Well, it's not only because I'm an introvert by nature, but also because I don't know what to expect from that guy. He or she may hurt me, or when I don't expect it to occur, and I would hate to find myself in such a situation. In other words, in order to minimize the risk of being let down, so I prefer to minimize the circle of people who I identify as my friends. Is model answer number one. It's not that bad, by the way. I hope that it's not that bad. It's full of reasons, right? It has got good words, high, okay, not low vocabulary words and collocation, etc. But let me work out another model based on the same question. Uh, mm, it's not that easy to do. Okay. So that I get a clear picture, I would like to mention that I'm a professional psychologist whose main area is communication. It is for that reason that I often strike conversation with somebody I have never seen before to discover what factors govern the communication process. I do it regardless of one's gender. For example, I often practice tactile communication elements when I'm walking towards someone or walking in my direction. Out of the blue, I open my hands in the hugging gesture as though I had just come across someone who I missed so much all the time. And this is the moment of truth. If the one is open minded, he or she will give me a hug too, greeting me as if we had known each other for donkey's years. The rapport, kind of spiritual bridge, has been developed between us, and the rest of the communication will be on easily. Nevertheless, at times I may bump into someone who doesn't feel like being open to the outer world. They are like in a shell, a protective shell. In this case, it's dramatically more challenging to break the ice wall between us. By doing such things, I consider myself as a burglar who can manipulate another person so that they don't even realize that I'm doing that. I enjoy the process. There is only one possible problem, which is that you are likely to deal with someone who may turn out to be more skillful than you are. Shortly, it is easy and challenging simultaneously. As for the factors influencing on the process, they are the person's nature and the level of my professionalism. So how about this one? It's more extended, right? And it has got more detailed and it's more and I guess it's full of expressions. For example, out of the blue, donkey's years. Okay, what else? The report, which means spiritual bridge. Feel like, outer world, manipulate, and others. Mhm. Okay. Uh, the next one. Uh, what sort of music do you like listening? Okay, this is a traditional question. Let's skip it, okay? So that'll be part of your homework because it's often asked either in IELTS exams or in even general English exams. Do you like this? Do you like that? So they like asking about your likes and dislikes. Let's skip it because you must have answered such questions before. What about the next one? Do you have any teacher or instructor you dislike? What's wrong about him or her? Are there any ways out? Well, model answer one. Well, first of all, I want to say that I go to university and I'm specialized in organic chemistry. It's my special area of knowledge. And um, after I graduate from university, I will become a professional chemist dealing with organic synthesis. However, I have recently faced up to a problem. The thing is that one of our organic chemistry teachers is quite stupid. Whenever I ask her about anything, she refuses to answer, and it seems to me that she doesn't understand what I'm asking her about. It's seen on her face. She looks helpless, and she tries to run away from me, even physically. That rubs me the wrong way. I don't like it at all, because if you study as an instructor at university, at a prestigious university, so you are supposed to meet the requirements, right? Well, and as for the ways out, so I have already turned to um my grant instructor for whatever device, and he says that I should put up with it for a while because she is going to be transferred to another research center, and we will get another more skillful teacher. I guess that will be the way out. Okay, so model answer one, and so what can we say? We can, so let me think. Model answer two. I remember that I should come with something rather unusual. The first situation is okay. It's but it's I would say it's not only comprehensible but predictable. Okay. Unfortunately, I do have such a teacher at school. She's my father's second wife, and she teaches English. Whenever I hear her speaking English, I understand perfectly well that her heavy Kashkadaria Razan accent makes it another OMG situation. The thing is that I had been living with my mother in Ireland for 10 years, going to a local school before we had to return here. And you can imagine the phonetic dissonance which brings me down whenever I hear her speaking English. Another problem about her is that my father really loves her, and perhaps this is the worst part of the whole situation. I've already thought over what I should do about it, either to put up with the current situation, hoping that one day they will divorce, or I could blackmail her, saying that I will put her on her poor English, and that the only way for her would be to leave my father on her own. But unfortunately, I'm not sure that it may work out. So this is the brief station of the teacher at my school who I don't like, to put it mildly. So this is another station. Well, which way to choose is entirely up to you. You can write your comments in your, I mean, I'm sorry, you can write your ideas in the comments. You can comment on the video. So feel free to do that. And also, you see there are some questions which I left on purpose. Do you like English? Then being naive people wish to have a real friend. Would you like to have one too? Why or why not? And about music. So we've got 3 questions left. So I suggest that you work out your answers. You can write down your answers to these questions, or you can record them and send me your recorded answers somehow. And I promise that I will listen to your recorded answers carefully in order to give some comments on the quality. Thank you very much for your attention, guys. I'm sorry for my French pronunciation. It's fever. It's the fever. Thank you. Bye.